A very good morning to one and all present here. I, Shomdatta Chakraborty of Class 12, cordially welcome you all to this edition of Mahadevi Birla World Academy's Inter-House Debate. Today, we are going to have students from all four houses engage in a battle of words, of perspectives, and of ideas. I would now like to welcome the esteemed members of the jury, our very own ex-students, Ms. Oyunti Ghosh and Ms. Nehal Binani. Based in Delhi, Ms. Oyunti Ghosh is a public affairs professional who works across multiple sectors, including education, defense, healthcare, development, and finance. She primarily works on strategic planning, media relations, and policy advisory. As a debate enthusiast, she has participated across multiple prestigious parliamentary debates across the country. She used to teach as a public speaking instructor at Mahadevi Birla Girls High Secondary School and Sri Sri Academy, Kolkata. Oyunti ma'am is also a former theatre professional. Her play has been performed across the country, including Prithvi Theatre, Mumbai, and India Habitat Centre, Delhi. She has judged theatre competitions held by colleges like Sri Ram College of Commerce and Lady Sri Ram College, Delhi University. She has finished her master's in sociology from Delhi School of Economics and her Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Presidency University, Kolkata. She was the Joint Secretary of the Presidency University Debate Society and helped organize the De Rosio Memorial Debate and Heritage Presidency Parliamentary Debate during her time. We are proud to welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am. Ms. Nehal Binani is a corporate lawyer specializing in public mergers and acquisitions, currently working with Trilegal in Mumbai. She is a qualified advocate, provisionally registered with the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa, and has graduated with a BA LLB degree from Symbiosis Law School, Pune in 2019. Prior to joining Trilegal, she has worked with the private equity team at Nishit Desai Associates and has also interned with various Tier 1 law firms in India, such as Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas and Khaitan & Co. During her school days at Mahadevi Birla World Academy, she has represented the school in various inter-school debate competitions. Being an avid debater, she continued to participate in and win several parliamentary debate competitions during college as well. We are indeed extremely privileged to have you with us, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome to you.
Thank you
You're looking so great, and we have seen you after so many years. You're looking absolutely great.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm so happy to be here.
We also have amongst us a senior student, Ms. Ashi Agarwal, who will be moderating today's debate. An alumnus of Mahadevi Birla World Academy, Ms. Ashi Agarwal was president of the Student Council for the session 2020-21. Ma'am Ashi loves to engage in debate, lending her voice to important issues in today's world and raising awareness. While in school, she also served as a core member of the Writers' Club, Morpheme. Moreover, she was the founder president of the school's Social Awareness Club, Phoenix. She has also participated in several debates and school plays. We are very happy to welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shomdatta. I'm glad I could be here.
You are welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
My friend Akanksha J. Samtani from class 12 has agreed to keep the time as the participants speak. Audrija Jana, also from class 12, will be providing tech support for our event today. I will now be elucidating the rules and regulations for today's debate. The competition will be a combination of extempore and turncoat debate, involving all the houses consisting of 2 participants per team. One speaker will speak in the extempore section and the other in the turncoat debate. In the extempore round, each speaker will be given 2 minutes. After 1.5 minutes, there will be a warning bell. Moreover, the timer will also be displayed on the screen, so that won't be a problem. The final bell will go after the motion. On a topic given on spot, as it happens in extemporis, in a turncoat debate format, the speaker must speak both for and against the motion. The turncoat debate topics will be given 10 minutes before the commencement of the competition. Time limit for the speakers will be 1.5 plus 1.5, 3 minutes in total, 1.5 for the proposition and 1.5 for the opposition. Cumulative scores of each participant will be added up, and the house winning the maximum points wins. All the very best to all the participants. May the best house win. I would now like to hand over the proceedings to our moderator, Ma'am Ashi Agarwal. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Somnatta. A very good morning to everybody connected with us today for the debate. As Somnatta already explained, the debate will be conducted in two stages. Firstly, the extempore, and secondly, the turncoat debate. So without wasting any time, let's begin with the debate. I'd like to wish all the participants all the very best. Be honest, be spontaneous, and give it your best. We will start with the extempore round with the first speaker from Scarlet House, that is Vidushi Agarwal. We will spin the wheel to see what topic number does Vidushi get. So Vidushi, you get topic number 2, which is social media is making us antisocial. I repeat, social media is making us antisocial. I hope the topic is clear to you, Vidushi.
Yes.
Yes? All the best, and you may start.
A very good day to everyone present here. The motion before the House reads, social media is making us antisocial, and I strongly propose it. In these times, in the pandemic time where everything has become online, where we connect to people that we know through social media and other means, we can find that the way that we interact with people has changed a lot. For example, I recently talked to my friends about how when I talk to people on video call or in meetings, the way I talk has changed a lot for the negative, in fact, because I suddenly don't know what to talk about because I've grown so used to talking through text and using reaction images, GIF stickers, whatnot. At this point, I have more reaction images than actual reactions, which is something that is very, very negative. And I'm pretty sure that everyone has been affected by this in some way or the other. Perhaps you've learned new things that you can talk about because everything is online. But we can find that the negatives are surely more than the positives because humans are social beings, and staying away from people and contacting them through a screen, through a digital virtual screen, is certainly not enough and is definitely taking a toll on us mentally and in the way that we socialize with people. Thus, I would like to conclude by saying that social media is making people antisocial because we can't even see the faces of people that we are talking to often, which makes it really hard for us to have clear communication. And thus, we are unable to understand people and tend to put ourselves first, which is something that needs to stop.
Thank you, Vidushi. You have 10 seconds left, but I guess you very well utilized your time talking about the evolution of social media and how our conversational skills have also evolved with the way we interact with people through social media. Next, we have the speaker from Emerald House, Aspriha De. Let's spin the wheel and see which topic number does Aspriha get. Topic number 4. Aspriha, your topic is, are scores a good measure of intelligence? I repeat, are scores a good measure of intelligence? Have you understood the topic, Aspriha?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Great. All the best.
A very good morning to everyone present. Today's topic is, are scores that we get in school a good measure of our intelligence? Personally, I believe in this. I do not believe in this. Excuse me. Examinations taken in school do not always prove that we retain everything and we understand everything. It's more of like a memory retaining capacity, and it's more of a measure of whether we can retain and memorize everything that we have learned. It does not really tell us if we have learned what we're actually reading through and what we're studying. In our education system, people parents tend to pressurize their children into believing that marks play an important role in what you're going to do in life. Of course, they play some role to some extent, but they do not always play a crucial role, because this does ultimately pressurize students into believing and developing a mindset that yes, I have to get good marks. This is the very reason that students have found a kind of stress in attending school and find it more of a duty to attend school than actually scoring, learning, and being intrigued by the concept of learning. So I strongly disagree with this, and I do believe that there has to be something more to learning than just scores, and pressurizing your children into believing that yes, scores matter, marks matter, and only your grades will matter in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Aspriha. So, Aspriha very rightly mentioned about the parent pressure. So, if parents are listening, children don't want pressure, they want to be motivated. The next speaker is from Royal House to the extempore, who is Alithia Chaudhary. Let's see what's your topic, Alithia. Topic number 5, which is civilization is essentially an escalating conflict with nature. I repeat, civilization is essentially an escalating conflict with nature. Alithia, is the topic in any way clear to you?
Yes, thank you.
Great, all the best.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, first we must understand exactly what we are talking about. We're talking about civilization, the way that human beings have developed over the years. And by developing, they have also demolished a lot of things which nature has given to us. We've cut down trees, there has been mass scale deforestations in order to create more buildings, more places where human beings can live. We have put the wildlife, the flora and fauna of that particular place at risk. Now, we must understand that we as human beings must respect nature. If we do not respect nature, there is no way that we will be able to ensure our survival. Human beings, in fact, at this point have basically become a virus to our planet. Viruses who are taking the resources as they wish, using it as they wish, without absolutely any thought about what will happen for the future generations. In fact, topics such as these, discussions such as these, have been held at length, and we have known it. We are also studying about sustainable development in our classes, in our and yet we still see that there is no way the development that we are going through, that we are carrying forward, is sustainable. There is no way that we are preserving the resources, preserving the earth as it is supposed to be for our future generations. Greta Thunberg, an environmentalist, an environment activist, she basically went on a school strike just to make the adults of the world understand the precarious state our earth is in. And yet we see that there is no change. The political leaders are more interested about politics than actually preserving the earth as it is. And therefore we must understand that in order to make sure that we human beings are not a virus to our planet, we must take up the reins and work towards it like Greta Thunberg did. Thank you.
Thank you, Alethea. I cannot help but emphasize on how you mentioned human beings are viruses for nature, even though the only virus I can think of right now is COVID. But I cannot deny how we've been brutal to nature, and maybe in some way or the other, COVID is a result of our own brutalness to nature. Anyway, moving on, the last speaker from Gold House is Arshia Parveen. Let's see what's your topic, Arshia. Ashia's topic is topic number 3, which is hard work versus smart work. I repeat, hard work versus smart work. All the best, Ashia.
Good morning to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Ashia, very well.
Good morning to everyone. First of all, we should understand the topic that we have in front of us. Generations, we have been taught one thing, that we have to study, that we have to work our level best so that we can get the best marks. Eventually, like studying for long hours and not being able to understand what we are studying is what we mean by hard working. Now, what is smart work? Smart work is basically understanding the topic that we have in front of us. Like if I'm studying a math subject, instead of just practicing continuously that particular math sum, I should sit down and understand what that particular sum is and what is concept. We have been taught our system of education is in which we are turned into a factory in machines, which is just taught to learn and mug up and come and vomit in the examination halls. We are not taught to understand the topic in hand. We're not taught to be analytical beings. Because of the hard work that we have to do, there have been various instances where people have been pushed into the edges, because the pressure that we have in our society, the pressure that we carry in our shoulders, because we do not make people understand that it is better to work in a smart way than to work in a way which is eventually going to be detrimental for our own health. Like, smart working would be to sit down, understand what we have and learn it and use it and analytically think about the topic. But hard working accordingly is to sit down and mark up the entire chapter, or just stay up all the night. So if you just put more emphasis on smart working than on hard working, then it will be good for our education system as well as for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashia. I think now that you've said it, that completely mugging up the entire chapter is not helpful. To all the students who are listening this, I believe they're going to follow it and work smartly. Let's hope so, at least. So that brings us to the end of the extempore round. We will now move on to the turncoat. The first speaker for the turncoat is from Scarlet House, Uditi Ranawat.
Am I audible?
Absolutely.
So, has my time been started? Would I be given information?
The timer will start as soon as you start speaking.
All right. Good morning to the members of the jury, Madam Moderator, and all the members of the House. This House believes face-to-face interaction with teachers to be more effective than online sessions and lectures. And I, Uditi Ranawat, strongly propose the motion. Let me tell you that face-to-face interaction with teachers is more effective as compared to online teaching. And more is the key word here. Students can get immediate feedback and doubt-clearing sessions in the classroom. Introverts are benefited because of offline classes, because teachers pay special attention to such students and try to help them break out of their shell. There is continuous focus because teachers monitor us. They know more. They know more about than just our academic performance, because they monitor us constantly when we are in school. There are no distractions whatsoever, and students cannot humiliate teachers by turning their videos off, citing reasons such as network issues. That's just wrong. face-to-face interaction works well for both teachers and students, but here students have taken it to their advantage, and they have decided that teachers are not as technologically adept as them, and they are taking full advantage of that. Support for students in need has become a problem because teachers cannot always make out whether the students are understanding the topic or not, whether they are in need of some sort of help, be it regarding their mental health or some issues in the family, because students, even if they lie to the teachers won't be able to make out because they can't see them, they can't understand what they are going through. More than that, there is a lack of self-discipline. Had we been in school, teachers would have taken action against us right there, appropriate action, because if we as students are being taught in school, then we'll obviously be told how to behave. And let me tell you, members of the opposition are going to come here and talk about economic gap. Well, let me ask them not to deviate from the motion, because this is about teachers and not about online school and the lack of devices. Now, in order to talk against the motion, the key word here would be effective, and it means successful in providing a desired or intended result. And let's be honest, the main idea was to promote all students to a higher grade, and we have done that successfully. We have Madam Moderator here who has also passed out from the school. So now coming to how the members of the proposition spoke about introverts being benefited. Now they are not uncomfortable. They are free at home and they behave the way they want to. They are more comfortable. They are trying to open up. The students have become more independent, and we have the benefit of live as well as recorded classes, while the material of the lecture remains the same. So it hardly makes any difference whether we are learning offline or we are learning online. And then, well, about counseling, well, we have a mental health club called Ikigai, and I, being the director of the club, can vouch for the fact that we are doing our best to help students in need. As for our elective English classes, well, teachers are taking all the initiatives. If they are willing to make an effort, I believe students are also doing the same in order to learn. And webinars, they are so concluding statement, ma'am. Webinars are so informative. We would not have got the benefit of those if we were studying offline. And I, for one, have also enrolled myself for the Teach India campaign in order to help underprivileged students. So it hardly makes a difference whether we are learning online or offline, and we have to evolve. We cannot go back to the method of the Gurukul system. I mean, it had its own flaws, and that's not what we are looking for now, is it? We have to evolve. Thank you. That would be my stance.
Thank you, Uditi. Firstly, Madam Moderator hasn't officially passed out yet because CBSE wouldn't let her do so. Secondly, I couldn't help but appreciate how you brought out both the sides of the coin. As cliched as it may sound, I really feel all of us could relate to it here, being students ourselves, and how helpful Gurukul was. Well, let's look at the evolution. If Gurukul was so helpful, why was evolution needed? Anyway, calling upon the next speaker from Emerald House, we have Dhwani Agarwal for Turncoat.
Can I start?
Yes, please. All the best.
Good morning, everyone. Taking my fellow speakers' superficial arguments to a more logical approach, I would like to focus on the motion of the House that is before us today. Face-to-face interaction with teachers is more effective than online lectures. Now, today, the opposition will take advantage of the subjectivity of the motion, give robust but trivial arguments, but the fact of the matter lies that they don't have any logical constructives to protect their stance. The enhanced productivity of online sessions is far-fetched. Let's keep our utopian vision aside for a moment and focus and look at the condition of our country. There prevails an inherent digital divide. Not many people in our country have access to cell phones, have access to internet, so that they can educate themselves through the online media. I will give you a very anecdotal example from my household. The woman who works at my house had a 15-year-old daughter who was about to give her board exams last year, but she was unable to because of the lack of proper internet connection and the lack of presence, the lack of the tuition teachers, the lack of proper support. In the presence of the teachers, there increases an accountability of the student. When the teacher is present in front of you, you tend to focus more, you tend to cheat less, and that increases the work, that increases the accountability of the student, as I mentioned. Now, to speak in the opposition, today, the proposition will criticize the opposition for its pessimistic approach, we cannot undermine the fact that the calamities like the calamities that exist today cannot be compromised, cannot compromise the education. The proposition may argue that boards being cancelled results in the inaccountability of the students, but they have still been marked on the basis of the exams that were carried out throughout the year through the online media. There has been a report that at least 40 to 50% of the people have already benefited from the online sessions. There has been an increase in flexibility. Compulsion to view it at a certain time is not there. We can view it at any time of the day, and this is where flipped classroom comes in. You can view your recorded videos anytime, and you can play it on repeat, and you can clear your doubts at any time of the day. Now, to conclude my statements, I would say I would like to quote my favorite author, P.G. Woodhouse, and he very rightly had the other speakers in mind when he said that they resembled men who spent the better part of their lives looking for the leak in gas lives with a lighted candle. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhwani. I guess your confidence does not really make me want to highlight any points from your speech, because everything that you said was very well evident. However, one thing really stuck me, which was when you mentioned flipped classes, flipped classrooms, viewing recorded lectures, how helpful they are, how they are not helpful. Well, it's for the students who go through this situation where flipped classrooms are their only source of education. Moving on, we have the next speaker from Royal House, Harshita Gupta. All the best, Harshita.
Thank you. Is the time started? Yes. Now, good morning, members of the House. Today, the motion in front of the House reads that face-to-face interaction with teachers has to be more effective than online learning. Now, to say so, let's take a very normal approach towards online learning. I can vouch for everyone right now that whenever our videos are off, we're probably on Instagram or WhatsApp or Snapchat or Facebook. We're not in the classes. I do it myself. I'm not lying. Now, the point of it is that online classes, everyone, be it the students or the teachers or the authorities, they tend to take a very casual approach to it because, again, the exams, the projects, everything is online. Why must there be a need to sit down and properly study? I passed my grade 11 without studying properly. Why? Because online learning. Now, we need to understand that online learning has reduced our attention span more than anything else in the world. And there are so many students who have developed things like ADHD, attention deficit disorder, because of this. So we need to understand that how students tend to procrastinate and not study properly. Secondly, the inaccessibility of online learning. Now let's sit down for a second and stop thinking from our privileged views with this laptop in front of me, my phone, my earphones. Not everyone has this, and we need to stop thinking from our privileged point of view and think about everyone when we talk about things like these. Now, again, the great digital gap has been talked about several times. So let me tell you some statistics. 45% of India has access to internet. 45. What about the rest 55%? Are they not supposed to study? Moreover, for teens with autism and disabilities, it's very difficult for them to adapt to change. Now, let's understand the fact that when it comes to online learning, it still has a lot more perks, right? The flexibility in classes, the choices that we are able to make, there's so much of, the comfortable surrounding that I'm sitting in. I can tell you right now, we're sitting in, I have my pillows over here, and it's more comfortable for me. It makes me more comfortable, and it's less intimidating than, since I have also been a debater pre-pandemic, sitting out here in the podium, and it's more intimidating seeing 500 people in front of you. So it makes it more accessible. Right now, the proposition talked about accessibility to say. So now what about people who struggle with confidence issues? It is more mental health effective to say so, because again, flipped classes, if it's being talked about as someone who's preparing for competitive exams, schools, co-curriculars, it's so difficult to manage all of it. But because of online learning is why it is possible. Moreover, it has rooted for, say, things like, right now we're having this debate. So many people are sitting here from different states. Would it have been possible had it been offline? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's understand the fact that, proposition constantly talked about how it's in excess, it is inaccessible. Now let's understand the fact that so is the real world. The real world is not utopian and fairies and cherries out there. It's more difficult than that. And whether or not it is inaccessible, people need to learn it. We as the students are not ready for things like college and jobs. Online learning leads to more of self, regulation and self, independence, and self-attention drives, which is why, concluding statement, Madam Speaker, so which is why it's so important to have things like online learning, because it helps us regulate our own selves, which is what is required for the real world. I understand some people might find it difficult, but that is the whole point of it. People need to learn to regulate their own behavior, because that is how the real world works. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshita. The speaker brought up points of financial gap, lack of financial privileges in the educational space, about mental health, a much argued about issue today. And I cannot help but emphasize on how she herself said that children use social media in the name of attending online classes. Well, children know themselves what they do during online classes, not going there. Moving on to the next speaker, or perhaps the last speaker for the debate, Ohana Banerjee from Gold House. All the best, Ohana.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
Okay. So this house believes that face-to-face interaction is more effective than online sessions and lectures. 1849, that is when the Bethlehem School had opened, 172 years ago. And the one thing that has remained synonymous with teaching from then till now is the face-to-face interaction between teachers and students. It makes the classes more engaging, more interactive in nature. Also, it is not only about punitive measures or monitoring, as some of my fellow debaters have brought up, it is also about understanding the students. Looking at a screen with 50 people does not really help you to understand what each student is thinking or if there is something wrong with them. But when a teacher looks at a student in a classroom, then they can understand if there's something on their mind, if there's something worrying them. Also, this Gurukul system is the only one that actually allows that. Moving on, a study by McKinsey has also shown that the teachers have proved that the global efficacy of online teaching is only 4.8 out of 10. And that is very less. This is because of the quality of education and the lack of understanding on part of students. Now, on the other hand, we need to look at the esteemed universities such as Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and they have been providing online degrees to students for years. And some of these degree holders have gone on to excel in their respective fields. Also, we've seen the rise of online platforms like Khan Academy, EDX, and Upstart, and all of those. And that is because they're self-paced, they have good quality education and information, and of course, they're comprehensible. Also, it reduces the time constraint that we have. And we have no time for anything, right? Because the world is so fast-paced that we're always caught up with something or the other. But this gives people the option to go through the study material at their own time and whenever they are comfortable with it. Thus, I conclude that the barrier is not online education, and it is as effective as face-to-face interaction. The barrier is quality education. Thank you.
Thank you, Ohana. Well, what you said is going to make a lot of us reflect on what exactly the barriers are and how quality education is getting affected, or how quality education is getting benefited, perhaps. That's up to interpretation, but I guess that was it from the speaker's behalf. I would now like to pass on the forum to the host, Shomdatta. Thank you, speakers. Your speeches really inspired a lot of us today.
Thank you very much. This was indeed an awe-inspiring session, I would say. Such lovely. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. I would now request our esteemed judge, Ma'am Ghosh, to address the participants, please.
Shomdatta, give them a minute. Give them a minute to do the tabulation a bit. Let them just send the scores, and then Oyanti and Nehal will speak.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, please. Just a
give
minute.
them.
I will just share the score sheet with Mrs. Sen, and then I can speak.
Auntie, I have received.
You
Auntie,
have?
I have received.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you for not making me do the math as Mrs. Ori or anybody who would be on this session would know that was not what I ever looked forward to. So glad. Would Nehal want to take it? Nehal, do you want to speak first or should I go?
Go ahead, Auntie. I'm fine.
Yeah, okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for bringing me here. I think it was a lovely opportunity and so great to hear everybody speak so passionately. I think more than the debate, I would like to just congratulate everybody saying that it's wonderful that what schools are doing. I think it would be a nightmare if I had to go through schooling without being in class because I hardly ever was in class. Like Mrs. Sen pointed out, I was doing all other activities across the building. So I don't think I would have enjoyed doing classes online. Then Mrs. Elroy would definitely have to see me more in her classes. But having said that, I think that I think teachers are doing a wonderful job. It's incredibly stressful to have to they're not just teaching in classes, they are going back tabulating scores, they are doing meetings by themselves. I think it's incredible the kind of efforts that they have to put in. And I do also understand that from going from chalkboard to chalk and blackboard to having to deal with so many different technologies, and their work days have stretched. So I think it's great what teachers are doing. So I think you all should be really grateful for that. And for students, I think the fun part of being in school was just to have to meet your friends and do all the things that you can't do sitting in classes. So I think it's wonderful what schools are doing. As far as this debate is concerned, it was so good to hear everybody speak on such varied sets of topics. Yes, the pandemic has been difficult, and it takes a lot of guts. Whoever said that we're not really learning much by doing rote learning and intelligence is the key. So, well, it's a lot of that. But congratulations to all the speakers who spoke. We generally at debates we celebrate natural speakers. It's true. It's great if you're a natural speaker. But I think what I would like to highlight is content is so important. It's important to be able to also think critically and put forth your points. Because while being a natural speaker gets the attention, but sometimes knowing how to articulate or knowing what the key points are can take you a long way. So having said that, I think it was wonderful hearing everybody speak. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come here. Nehal, you can go, I guess.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I now invite Ma'am Binani to kindly address the participants.
Hi, it was fantastic to hear everyone speak. First of all, great job, everybody. Everybody who has, I think the more important part that I love about this debate is that it was spontaneous and it was very the topics were given very last minute, which I love. Because from when I was in school, debates were very rehearsed. It was all about who could deliver a better speech, who could have those famous quotes and fun quips. As I went through college, I realized that debating is not about who can give a better rehearsed speech. It's about who can sit down and think about the motion that has been presented before you and come up with arguments. More importantly, when you do a parliamentary debate, when you are going to do it in college, when you do a parliamentary debate in college, I mean, I hope all of you do it. It's a great fun exercise and it's a great exercise in critical thinking. It's more about not just making your case in those 15 minutes that you're given to prepare a debate. It's also about thinking about what the speakers before you have presented and going with the flow, right? There will be times when you have a case prepped in your mind, but people will speak before you and you will have to completely flip your case basis on what has come before you. And that is the joy and beauty of debating. I feel like debating really tests you because it puts you, it forces you to think on your feet. It forces you in a position where you are required to exercise critical thinking and knowledge and be able to build an argument out of it. And I am so grateful to the school and to the teachers and to all of you students for really embracing the concept of debating and not thinking beforehand and not coming up with rehearsed speeches. It was at this stage, I feel like so much props and genuinely, like, I'm so happy to see that everyone is able to sit down and like take this challenge head on. So congratulations to all the speakers, and thank you so much to all the teachers for having me here. It's so great to see students develop and become the people that they are today. Honestly, it makes me I look back to my school days and it makes me feel so nostalgic and genuinely very happy to be here. So thank you everyone, and congratulations and good luck. You're all doing a great job. So congratulations.
I feel our judges have really inspired us to explore the dynamics of public speaking. That is all I can say. Thank you very much. Do we have the scores yet?
Not as yet. Let Ashi speak. By that time, it's definitely going to be ready.
All right. All right.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't really have the right words to describe what today's debate was. I've looked up to both the judges who've been my seniors. They probably don't even remember me, but I was, I think, in the 6th grade when I saw them debating on stage. And I just told myself that I just wish I could do that, you know. I just wish I could come up with those arguments. I wish I could present my thoughts the way they did back then. And looking at all the participants today, I wish the same. Like both of them mentioned about the importance of presenting your thoughts, about spontaneity, about content. I think the most important part of debating is to be able to put forward what you are actually thinking, irrespective of whether you believe in it or not. Because most of the times you get emotion, and when you take a stance, it is not always necessary that you believe in the stance you've been allotted with. You don't always have a choice. So just to come up with that conviction in your tone and make sure that the audience believes, or is at least forced or persuaded to believe in what you are trying to make them believe, is in itself commendable. And talking about the speakers today, I just feel that it takes a lot of courage to be able to come in front of an audience and talk. Forget keeping debating aside itself. I think just to be able to open up in front of an audience, I've been there in that place for the last 3-4 years, or let's say for the last 5-6 years since I have tried to do public speaking. I know how tough it is. So I just want to congratulate all the participants for at least putting up a great show and trying their level best. I hope all of you will take back something from today's debate and learn from your opponents as well, instead of treating it in a way that you probably shouldn't. Thank you for having me here.
I will just interrupt here, and Principal Ma'am is watching on YouTube the entire program, and she sends her love and best wishes to Oyunti, to Nehal, and to Ashi. We are so thankful that you are here. She is
Thank you,
watching.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Just if we can have another minute, the results will be ready.
All right. So in the meantime, we have the results. I'd like to ask the members of the audience. You heard the topics today. You heard the debate today. So is there any point that you would like to bring up from your side for the respective topics that were discussed in the house today? Anything from the audience, or any questions you want to ask our judges or the participants or the speakers or me? Or even if the speakers want to come up with any points that they felt could have been brought up with another topic. Yes, Aditi.
Because I exhausted my time limit, I couldn't say one thing. So John Dewey's, he emphasized on the value of learning by doing. And now that we are sitting at home behind a computer screen, there's no way for teachers to make us do things. They can't force us. We're sitting here and they can't see us. It's not like they did force us back in school, but it's just that teachers don't have as much control over us as they would have. And there comes into play the importance of self-discipline, which I feel most of us, we are trying really hard, but it is difficult. Being ex-students, you all can understand, and you having been in this mode of education for 1 year, you also understand how difficult it can get. So that was one point that I wanted to bring up, because I wish I can go back to school and just be with my friends, and I'm ready to be scolded by teachers. I'm fine with it, but I just want to go back. So that's it.
What you just said, Aditi, reminds me of J. Krishnamurti and his idea of creative discipline, which is very similar. A lot of it also comes comes from within us. A lot of it comes from us as students. Teachers, even if we go back to school, teachers don't essentially have control over us. They can probably guide us. They can probably tell us what we're doing is right or not, but they don't have that essential control on us. It's ultimately about creative discipline and instilling that inside you. So thank you for that. Anybody else who has any other points or anything else that they'd like to put forward?
Ashi, another message from ma'am, principal ma'am. She has just said that she loves the spontaneity and the debating culture that has generated over these years. And this entire event is making her very, very happy.
Ma'am, I guess we're all grateful to Principal Ma'am for letting us come up with these ideas, having these events in school, even if it is virtually, and to the teachers who work so hard on organizing these events with us. I mean, academics is something that we're all already struggling with, majorly the teachers, because the entire mode has shifted. And for us as students, we can still accommodate this entire technical thing. But I guess the way our teachers have been guiding us is in itself something that we're all very grateful for, like our judges also mentioned. So thank you to ma'am and thank you to the teachers.
Thank you for acknowledging the struggle that we are going through. Trust me, it is very, very challenging. But yes, we are learning. We are still learning, and we depend on the students so much to teach us the skills. In fact, it's a role reversal. Often we take the help of the students to help us if we are stuck in between classes. Okay. Ashi, if we can have the results.
Sure. Ma'am, I haven't received them, please. Ma'am, I haven't received the results, I believe.
You haven't? Okay, one more minute, please. One more minute, then.
Sure, ma'am.
Ma'am, the results have just been sent across to you.
I've received it. Thank you so much. So, before I announce the results, I'd just like to say, I don't know if anyone will agree with me or not, but I'd just like to say that irrespective of what the results are, please, please, please don't get disheartened. Try to learn from here, learn from the judges, learn from the amazing team of debaters that we've seen today, and take back what you can improve on instead of dwelling on the fact that you did not essentially win something. Okay. So the best speaker for extempore is Alithia Chaudhary from Royal House. The best speaker for turn court debate is Harshita Gupta, again from Royal House. The first runners up for today's debate event are the speakers from the Gold House. And the best house for today's debate goes to any guesses in the chat box or anywhere? I see no guesses. I'm just going to clear out the suspense. The best house for today's debate goes to Royal House. Congratulations to everybody, all the participants, to the winners especially. I think you all will really learn from this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We are indeed extremely privileged and honored to have our respected judges on board. On behalf of the MBWA family, I take this opportunity to convey our heartfelt gratitude to our judges for taking time out of their busy schedule to join this debate. I would like to thank our moderator, Ma'am Ashi Agarwal, for coordinating the session today. I thank Principal Ma'am and Vice Principal Ma'am for this excellent opportunity. I would also like to thank our house wardens, our teachers, Ma'am Sen, Ma'am Sharma Sharkar, Ma'am Jabin, and Ma'am Roy Chaudhary for their constant support and encouragement. I also thank Akanksha and Audrija for the technical support that they provided. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the students for joining this session today. Thank you.